My job on the Senate Appropriations Committee is to be the chair of one of the most important subcommittees, the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. Never dreamed I'd have this responsibility, but with the passing of a genuine American hero, Dan Inouye of Hawaii, this mantle fell on my shoulders. Almost 60% of all the domestic discretionary funds spent by the federal government go through this one subcommittee. There's a lot of hard work involved in putting the appropriation together, but when you consider the responsibility we have, it's even more substantial. This appropriation supports our men and women in uniform and the nation's intelligence agencies that keep our country safe. Let me tell you what a government shutdown is going to mean to them. A government shutdown is going to mean a lot of hardship. I mentioned earlier, uniformed troops calling their spouses to say, we're not going to get our paycheck on time this month. Try to make do if you need it. Something totally unnecessary, something brought on by action on the floor of the United States Senate just minutes ago by 2 Republican senators. There are more than 700,000 civilian employees at the Department of Defense, and half of them will be sent home immediately come Tuesday morning. Sent home. Men and women who work at military installations in the Pentagon, sent home from work. Over 80% of the Department of Defense civilians work outside the Pentagon. 12,000 of them work in my state. They'll be given notice on Tuesday morning, you have to go home. Why? Because there was a promise made for some publicity on Friday by a couple senators. That's unacceptable. A substantial number of these hard-working men and women are going to be furloughed because of already face furlough because of a sequester. And now if we allow this government to shut down, once again, they'll have to figure out how to make ends meet. Men and women who are just trying to keep us safe in this country, many of them risking their lives, are now going to be pawns in this political game. It's an unconscionable breach of faith. This shutdown will be quick, and the principal agencies will largely go dark within 4 to 8 hours of the shutdown order. America, its intelligence agencies that keep us safe, are going to go dark because of this political strategy. If the government shuts down, all DoD work will stop on weapons and equipment maintenance not directly related to war. Bases will not be maintained, which will see a degradation of facilities. You'll see massive disruptions all across this country. The Rock Island Arsenal in my state, a critical arsenal that supports more than 54,000 active reserve and retired military. The arsenal is the largest employer in the Illinois-Iowa region, with more than 7,500 employees and more than 70 federal and commercial tenants. The facility adds $1 billion to the local economy, supporting 14,000 jobs in the region. A government shutdown will throw production schedules at Rock Island into chaos as orders get cut back and civilians sit at home under furlough. I couldn't imagine going to these men and women and saying the reason that you've had this furlough and can't come to work is because 2 senators decided they needed some publicity on Friday. Putting the arsenal's capabilities at risk degrades the defense industrial base. It jeopardizes our national and local economy. Same thing is true at Scott Air Force Base. In a shutdown, its 5,000 civilian employees would experience the same loss of pay as everybody else. Scott's 5,500 active duty military personnel and their families would have to get by on savings and reserve while they wait for reimbursement with later paychecks. When you go through these lists, and the lists are long, you think how totally unnecessary this is. Senator Reid has come to the floor repeatedly to tell you what the American people think. 80% of the American people think this is foolish and wasteful. Foolish and wasteful. 75% of Republicans have given up on this strategy. And yet, a handful of willful members of the House and Senate decide they're just going to keep going down this road.